Very good morning to everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the Bulletin on this beautiful Sunday morning, the 23rd of March, 2025. We're listening to the club station of the Sandton Amateur Radio Club, ZS6STN, which is operated today from the Shack of Angus, ZS6 Golf Oscar. This bulletin is broadcast every Sunday at 8:45 local time on the following frequencies: 145.700 megahertz FM in the 2-meter band, 7.115 megahertz low side band in the 40-meter band. Today via the relay from the Shack of Chris, ZS6GM. Thank you very much for doing the relay there, Chris. And then we've got Echolink, ZS6STN-R. In the bulletin today, club birthdays, club news, general ham radio news, special topic of interest, call-ins, and swap shop on 40 meters and 2 meters. All right, let's start with the birthdays of the club members for the past week and upcoming week. All right, for this past week, I had two. Firstly was Daniel de Kock, ZS6 Delta Killer on the 18th. And then we got Kenai Airy, ZS6KRA on the 19th. Then, I hope you guys had a good birthday and got spoiled rotten. Then, for the coming week, we've got Daniel Newton, ZS6EWT on the 24th. And then we've got ZS6 Yankee India Delta, Louis Stroffer on the 27th. Well, I hope you guys are going to have a good birthday this coming week. All right, let me see if there's anybody out there who would like to add some club news. ZS6STN is now listening.
ZS6 Hotel India.
ZS6HR, good morning to you. Take a round.
Good morning, Angus, and to all those on frequency. Your broadcast is coming through beautifully at my QTH here this morning, Angus, so thank you for that. Just to mention, obviously, on the 26th of March, being the last Wednesday of March, will be our club meeting out at 11 Kildoon Road in Bryanston. So it would be great to see as many members there as possible. We're going to try and use this time productively, not just as a social, to plan things, to get things going, to consider what we're going to do at field day, QRP contests, and so on. So do please join us out at the clubhouse from 5:30 onwards on Wednesday evening, the 26th of March. That same evening is the Power Hour Tech Talk, and this month we are going to get a talk from ZS6 Charlie Delta, Johan, who's going to be talking to us about another activity they have started that is active in certain groups and about 4 times a year, and that is using a little HT and a Yagi antenna and doing the same thing that the SOTA, HOTA, POTA guys will do, and using also QRP at the same time with your little HT. So it's a lovely activity, and it can be combined with a buddy and all the rest as well. So get out there and listen to the Power Hour Tech Talk on Wednesday evening. That starts at 1900 CAT. So at the club meet, we will do it from the clubhouse. But if you can't get to the clubhouse, please do join the Power Hour Tech Talk on Wednesday evening, the 26th. Then just to mention, on the 5th of April is the next QRP contest. But on the morning of the 5th of April, we will be doing HF assessments. So we would like to have a few guys out there available on HF to chat to the RAE students so that they can make their 5 contacts each. And then we also are doing, obviously, the rest of the HF assessment on the the morning of the 5th of April. And that will be out at the Field and Study Centre in Park Moor. So if you want to come out there and meet the guys and see what's happening and help, I think you'll find Brandon there trying to do something fancy with an antenna as well with the guys. So you're most welcome to join us out there on the 5th of April. Then on the afternoon of the 5th of April is our big event. And that is the QRP contest that is hosted by ZS6STN. So what does the hosting mean? It means we establish the rules, we do the write-ups for the bulletins, we do all the scoring and the publication of the results and the trophies. And you will see during April, and that's the centenary AGM and awards dinner, that we are going to hand out a few trophies for those that competed last year and how we've prepared those trophies. So I suggest you get out there on the 5th of April in the afternoon. It starts at 3:30 Central African time and ends at 5:30 Central African time. So get out there, find your site. You can do it from your QTH. You can use any power level you like. Obviously, if you're running QRP, you stand in line for all the awards, but there is a chaser award, so those who are running bigger than QRP power are also eligible for an award, and it's just a lot of fun. And what you can experiment, try different antennas or different orientations of your antennas, and see how you can do with QRP. And what we are suggesting is that why not take a buddy along? It's not like you are going to be so overwhelmed with contacts that you're going to be in a pile-up of note. Well, you might be in a few pile-ups, but there is time during the 2-hour period for you to reflect, for experiment, try a different mode, and let your buddy have the microphone to make that same contact. So why not take a buddy along? It's a lot more fun to share the experience as well. In the centenary AGM and dinner, which is taking place it starts on the 16th of May, but really the big day is the 17th of May, and that is the SARL AGM, the mega Pretoria flea market. So that sounds more like a hamvention, so get out there, and we've already booked a stand for ZS6STN, so we will be represented as a club at the Saturday display, or mega flea market as they call it, and then the awards dinner on the evening of the 17th of April. So I know that you've got a book for that. It's out in Centurion, so please don't forget to book for that. Put your name down, join us at the awards dinner. I'm aware that a few members of the Sandton Amateur Club have already done so, and it would be great if we could get together at that awards dinner. And there might be a few awards even for Santonites, so who knows, it's worth attending as well. Today is the last little leg of the current DX All Africa contest. The conditions haven't been that great, but that means if you do make contacts, it'll be great to send in your logbook, and maybe you stand in the line for getting an award, especially if you've got some of our SADC countries in the logbook. So I did speak to somebody last night who had been chatting to Botswana, so there are a few people out there on the bands looking for your call. I think that's probably enough there from me, Angus. ZS6STN, ZS6HI.
ZS6HR from ZS6STN, operated by ZS6 Golf Oscar. Thanks, Keith, for that. I'm going to move to extracts from the weekly SRL Bulletin. Okay. In the news today, did you have fun over the field weekend? SRL QRP contest and club news. Did you have fun over the field day weekend? We were told that 29 logs were submitted and the first leg of the field day. More about the fun having at the field day. Thank you to Sandton Amateur Radio Club for a comprehensive article about the field day at Hekput. Send your article to Radio ZS at srl.org.za. You'll find the article from the Sandton Amateur Radio Club in the April issue of Radio ZS. As Keith mentioned, the SRL QRP contest, it is time to dust off the cobwebs and prepare your gear in 2 weekends. On Saturday, the 5th of April, 2025, between 15:30 and 17:30 Central African time, we would really appreciate if you would simulate those doing, as we really need to get active during the autumn leg of the SRL QRP contest. Have you selected your gear? Pick choose the antenna and about inviting a buddy or a new ham to share the experience and adventure with you. Whether you're running 1 watt or 100 watts, and from wherever you may be, this is an awesome contest designed for fun and experimentation. Whether you choose to run QRP, this is an invitation, so please dial us Saturday the 5th of April between 15:30 and 17:30 Central African Time. Let's get active and enjoy the adventure together. Then contest news. The results of the first leg of the SRL National Field Day held on the 8th and 9th of March have been released. As I said, 29 logs were received with all categories covered. During the weekend, 1,253 SSB and 15 CW QSOs were made. Then the results. Class A, which is the field station multi-operator. First was the Sandton Amateur Radio Club, ZS6STN, with 143,138 points. Second was Weststrand Amateur Radio Club, ZS6 Whiskey Romeo, with 136,130 points. And third was Northern Cape Amateur Radio Club, ZS3 November Charlie, with 66,866 points. Class B was Field Station Multi-Operator QRP, and first was the Sasolburg Amateur Radio Club, ZS6 Sierra Romeo Killer, with 49,298 points. Class C was Field Station Single Operator. First was Anthony ZS6 Alpha November Tango, with 36,350 points. And second was Emil ZS1 X-Ray Bravo, with 252 points. Then you got your Class D, which is Field Station Single Operator QRP. First was Eddie Linton, ZS6 Bravo November Echo, with 914 points. Class E was Ultralight Portable Station. First was Philip Fisher, ZS6 Foxtrot Yankee, with 73,250 points. Third was Ludwig Combrink, ZS5 with 58,802 points. Class F backyard stations first was the Secunda Amateur Radio Club, operated by Lucas Swart, ZS6 Alpha Charlie Tango, with 8,870 points. Second was Michael Spencer Wilson, ZS6 MSW, with 941 points. Then Class G was General. First was Myong's Studemarker, ZS5 Victor, with 1,344 points. Second was Herman Kleinhaus, ZS6 Hotel Kilo Lima, with 1,058 points. And third was Mark Walker, ZS6 MDX, with 1,008 points. Then club news, as mentioned by Keith. Are you ready for the next Power Hour Tech Talk? Grab a pen and paper and mark in your calendar for Wednesday, the 26th of March, 1900 Central African Time. Our special guest is Johan, ZS6 Delta Charlie. We'll be introducing an exciting FM activity that everybody can participate in, with very basic and inexpensive equipment that encourages our antenna makers and experimenters, genies, and that can combine with many other activities like SOTA, POTA, and HOTA, or can be a standalone. Join us for the Power Hour Tech Talk as you tap into Johan's skills and expertise to see what several amateurs are doing with QRP FM, and maybe a piece of Bob Wire, the Talk starts at 1900 hours Central African time and will be live on Interconnect. And on the live interconnected ZS6STN, which is 145.700, West-Strand 145.025 megahertz, and COTS 145.6625 megahertz repeaters, as well as associated Echolinks and All-Star modes. For all the pictures and Zoom login, here's the Zoom login details. Meeting ID is 848-8396-7418, and the password is 025452. Everybody is welcome, so please spread the news, spread this information. Then, propagation report. Hannes Kutsia, ZS6 Bravo Zulu Papa, reports that solar activity is expected to be at low levels. There are currently 12 sunspot regions with simple magnetic configurations visible. There is a high probability of C-class and low moderate of M-class solar flares. If you want to do your own frequency prediction, the effective sunspot number for the week is around 104. The 10 and 20 meter bands may, especially in the late afternoons and early evenings, provide some good DX fun. Please visit the website spaceweather.sandra.org for further information. Then, diary of events. Today, as Keith mentioned, the All-African Mode International DX Contest. 26th of March is the Sandton Amateur Radio Club Power Hour Tech Talk. 28th of March is the Provincial Schools Close. 2nd of April is World Autism Day. 3rd of April is the SRL 80-meter QSO party. 5th of April is the SRL QRP contest and the ZS6 Papa Tango Alpha Flea Market. And then the 8th of April, the Provincial Schools Open. All right, that's it from the SRL Bulletin. On topic of interest, I found something while I was trolling the web on data modes. I know everybody talks about them, so I found this article by Chris Warren from offgridham.com. All right, and it is data modes, game changer or gimmick. Time plus technology equals options. Ham radio has a lot of more options than it did years ago. Back in the day, choices were phone or CW, and that was about it. In the 1970s, 80s, slow scan TV and the early data such as RTTL came about. But they were niche modes used by hardly anybody. From the off-the-grid ham perspective, what advantages do data modes have? Do they truly have advantages, or are they just a gimmick? Our purpose is not to go into technical details about each mode or argue with data is better or worse than conventional phone or Morse code. Instead, we'll pick apart the pros and the cons of data and examine how it applies to off-grid operations. That was then, and this is now. Today, hams have choice from a large buffet of data modes, with more being developed all the time. As the modes became more popular, various cliques and fractions formed around them. If you frequent the ham radio social media pages, you know the discussion can sometimes get unnecessary. Okay, I won't read that part. I don't get it. The internet has strange abilities to turn otherwise sensible people into totally, you'll get it. One man's selling point for radios, for ham radio data modes, is that they get a message through with only a few watts of power, even when there is a lot of interference and poor band conditions. For most part, this is true. Also, some data modes, such as Weak Signal Propagation Reporter, WSPR, have an online resource that will report where in the world your signal has been heard. It is great for testing antennas or getting a feel of band conditions. WinLink allows hams to send emails with attachments via radio. What are your goals? If you're into ham radio purely for recreational or experimental reasons, then you don't need to read the rest of this article, but I hope you do it anyway. Pick the mode that suits you. Have fun with it, and don't sweat the details or engage with haters. If you're into MCOM or a survivalist or Pepper, then data modes require more consideration. To you folks, radio is not just a pastime, and decision on how you will communicate is a serious matter. Okay, the pros of data modes. As already mentioned, most data modes are very effective of getting a message through even when with low power transmission or band conditions. This alone makes it worthwhile. In addition, data modes provide a modest level of communication security. If it sounds like an odd claim, keep in mind every ham who is not set up to run data will be unable to interpret your transmission. Right out of the box, data reduces the number of stations that can eavesdrop on your comms, although the exact number is unknown. It is likely significant. On the other side, traditional phone and CW comms can be heard by everybody, even non-hams, with simple equipment. Another great capability of data is that it is or can be asynchronous. This means the receiving messages can be stored and read later, thereby eliminating the need to have an operator on duty to copy messages in real time. The cons. There's not many downsides to data. Perhaps the biggest drawback is the technical requirements. In addition to the appropriate hardware and software, you also need to have charging cables, power supplies for all the devices you are planning to use on long-term operations. Obviously, the more complex you have, the greater the chance of something going wrong. Furthermore, it's not enough to have the proper gear yourself. Everyone you wish to communicate with also needs to have a similar equipment. Working the bugs out and getting everything to work can be challenging, and even with experienced operators. Imagine the scenario. You and some of your family and friends want to form a group for preparedness. If you collectively decide to use radio data mode, then everyone in the group needs to be invested in the needed equipment and competent using it. While the technical intricacies of setting up one station is not particularly a great deal, duplicating it across many stations in the group might be. The internet. Is it a weak link? Generally, data modes do not require internet connections, but this claim needs some context. While most data modes technically do not need the internet to work, not having internet connection may limit functions. For example, WSPR. For starters, WSPR is not much than a ham radio mode, as much as a service or feature. Since receiving stations report activities via the internet, not having an internet connection disables the service. It is a moot point anyway. In a disaster scenario, WSPR won't help you much. WinLink. WinLink technically does not require the internet, but not having internet will significantly reduce its usefulness. You will be limited to only point-to-point communications with WinLink equipment stations. The good news is that unlike the internet, will go down wherever at the same time. You can contact at least one link station with a working internet connection. Then you should be okay. Are you off the grid? Doesn't matter. It is really important to point out the glaring truth. If you are using the internet as
part of your communication plan, then you are definitely not off the grid. However, nothing wrong with this, and I'm not trying to be a punter. However, I have an off-the-grid whole independent communication system is a high priority. Then you will need to look at other options, or at least one, very least have plan B that does not involve the internet. Of course, many hams use both data and traditional voice CW for communications. Don't get yourself into a rut and think of that there's an either choice. Okay, so that was the article I read, and I actually found it very interesting. In closing, thank you to everybody for out there for listening. We trust that you've enjoyed the bulletin today. Please feel free to give comments or any constructive criticism. Thank you for the stations who have assisted with relays, the broadcasting, and those who've contributed to the content from time to time. Join us again next Sunday at 8:45 Central African Time for the regular bulletin of the Sandton Amateur Radio Club. This brings a close to the weekly bulletin of the Sandton Amateur Radio Club at ZS6STN. ZS6STN was operated today by ZS6 Golf Oscar. Thank you to all our listeners and 7 3s. ZS6STN now relinquishes all frequencies for general use.